Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of State Champs Chat. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Lauren.
And as always, we're going to start off with what's trending. We want to talk about sports, what's trending, and you guys. And this week, we're going to start off with the British Open. Zach Johnson just won it.
Zach Johnson won it. He had an incredible interview after it. He was crying, and at the end, he goes, "I'm a mess." Jordan Spieth came up, gave him a hug. But he seems like the most humble, loving, Christian guy. He said during his last putt, he goes, "There's a bunch of scripture going around in my head." So he's a very, very godly man, and I think that's really cool to see someone so humble win something so big.
Yeah, he even said, I felt a little bad for Spieth because, you know, he was so close to doing something so amazing, getting a Grand Slam. Everybody in the golf world kind of wanted that, but Spieth was about 6 inches and 1 stroke away
from missing the playoffs, and then they went on to the playoffs against Oosthaven. But I know, but Spieth is such a good character. He came up and gave him a hug and said congratulations. I know they're pretty good friends, so it's cool to see different sports or different men I don't know, encouraging each other and
definitely
being supportive.
He will be going home with $1.8 million.
That is amazing for him. And the runner-ups will receive about $835,000, which is still a huge amount of money.
I think it's really interesting how much money they're getting in comparison to what we talked about last week with the Women's World Cup team. The winner, the U.S., got not that much money. Yeah, $2 million total.
Compared to 34,
and they had to, split all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty incredible that, I guess, once again, just goes to show the sponsors and stuff isn't there. But
definitely. Well, it was a really fun tournament to watch. It went into playoffs on Monday. I know a lot of people were missing work to watch it. I know my dad was. He was definitely trying to watch it on the office TV, but it was exciting. And
Twitter was blowing up at work.
Yes, and it was definitely great to see Zach Johnson win and get that victory.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings his total amount of money that he's won in his career to a little over $37 million.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Next, we're going to continue our talk about soccer. Our athlete of the week this week had to be Alex Morgan.
It did. She is on the cover of FIFA 16 with Leo Messi.
Yeah, for the U.S. regional cover. And she said Messi is one of her heroes, which is really cool for her. How cool is that?
That is a really cool thing. I mean, I want to meet Leo Messi. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great soccer player. And to pose on the cover of FIFA 16. And she's the first woman ever to be on the cover, which is really, really cool.
And the first World Cup champ to be on there since 2009. So that really shows, I mean, maybe that they're starting to get a little more recognition. Maybe something will happen, they'll get more money next time. But
who knows?
She's probably getting a lot of money for being on the cover, I would guess. Which is really cool since she is, FC Barcelona is her favorite team, actually, too.
I know.
So pretty awesome for her. So we had to choose her for our athlete of the week this week. Make sure to tell us who you want to be our athlete of the week. We want to talk about you guys, too. So let us know and talk to us on social media. Next, we're going to go to our hot topics, and first we're going to talk this week about NFL cheerleaders. California just signed a bill last week that entitles cheerleaders of pro sports teams to minimum wage and a bunch of other protections, which I think is a really huge deal.
I do think it's a huge deal. I mean, these girls are dancing all the time. They're practicing. They're going to different events every week. I know personally one of my good friends is a cheerleader for the Miami Dolphins, and I know that they only get paid about $100 a game, $50 for different events that they go to, but it really doesn't cover the amount of time that they're spending with practice and everything else. Yeah,
and this was really brought into the spotlight last year. A Raiders cheerleader filed a lawsuit and was saying, they were only making, this much per appearance, and they would have to go to all these charity events and all kinds of things without any compensation. And before in California, the cheerleaders have been considered contract employees, so now they're technically can be full-time. And so this is a really big step in the right direction, I think, and really huge for, cheerleaders and women.
And it shows equality, work right equality, and they're getting paid equal amounts, and I think that's awesome for them. I mean, they are putting in so much time between shows, between games, between appearances, between practice, and I think that it's a really, really good step.
It really is, and it just so happened that one of the legislators pushing this bill happened to be a former cheerleader.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting that they kind of got that extra push for her. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're going to head to Score a Fumble, as always, and we're going to talk about, once again, we've talked about it a lot, but Deflategate.
Deflategate.
The Deflategate football officially sold for nearly $44,000.
It did. It started off by bidding around $25,000, which is still an insane amount of money. Someone paid almost like $100,000.
Score a Fumble for you.
I think it's a fumble. I don't think that I would buy a football for $44,000.
I don't think I would either. I would
when I can
agree
head
with
up to
that.
Dunham's
Fumble.
and get one for $50.
Yeah, it amazes me how much people pay for sports memorabilia like that. It's really crazy, and it was actually one of the balls that was in a touchdown from that game.
Do you think that they kept it the same inflation, or do you
I
think they
don't know.
deflated it more? Or
I
do you
don't
think they
know.
inflated it more to make it regulation?
Yeah. I wonder if that was in the, you know, description in the site that they were bidding it on, you know, not been altered or I'm not sure. Pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
And speaking of Deflategate, Roger Goodell just said this past week there's no timeline on their decision. They're going to make it as quickly as possible, but everyone's still waiting to hear about the decision on Tom Brady appealing his suspension. So do you think it's a score fumble? Do you think they should speed up this process, or?
I think that they should speed up a little bit, especially because football season is closely approaching. It is about a month away before like preseason games start, and I think that they need to make a decision.
I think so too. He said they're trying to thoroughly, you know, go through all the details and everything, but I feel like at this point, it's almost, you know, it's like get done with this already. It's been in the news for forever. It's been. I feel like what more details?
We think about it. The Super Bowl was in February. It's July. It's been almost 6 months.
Yeah.
So it
was a while
been 6
ago.
months. Yeah.
And I'm sure they want to know before preseason if Tom Brady can be playing or not.
Yeah.
So I guess it has to happen sometime within the next month.
Sometime soon.
But we'll see. It should be interesting. Next, we're going to head to our clip of the week. This has got to be one of my favorite clips of the week that we've had. And we're talking about her again. We can't stop talking about her.
Riley Curry.
She turned 3 this week, and her mom posted this video on Instagram, and it blew up all over social media, all over ESPN.
She's whipping and nay-naying.
She's whipping and nay-nay, and she is doing it awesome, too. Unreal video.
We've been practicing our whip and nay-nay a little bit.
Do you think her little sister is going to be just as cute as she was?
I think she will be. But this video is honestly so adorable. I mean, Riley Curry is just an icon for America, basically. And just getting a little whip and nay-nay go.
She has it going. And, you know, I think everyone saw this video. I don't think it was, you know, a secret that everybody is in love with Riley Curry. I wonder how Steph Curry feels about it. Like, she's getting more popular than him, maybe.
I know.
MVP of the NBA this year, but, you know, nobody cares.
My daughter's more important.
Riley's more important. All right, remember, guys, continue to check out statechampsnetwork.com for updates. It's almost time for fall sports. We have so much going on. We have our new partnership with 105.1 FM, which we'll be having our football radio show on Friday nights from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's going to be awesome. Your place to hear all the scores after they're happening on Friday nights. Extra Point is going to be starting on WXYZ, which is our entirely football show. Lauren is going to be doing that with Lauren. It's going to be great. And of course, State Champs is going to be on Fox Sports Detroit Sundays at 9, and that is going to be heading to an hour in October. So an hour from a half hour. All kinds of highlights for you guys. So make sure to keep checking in with us on social media. And as always, we're still going to be doing the webcast. So let us know what you want to talk about. We're here to talk about youth sports and what's trending. And thanks for tuning in this week, guys.
We'll see you next week.